All right, in this episode, we talk about the pitching mechanics of the trunk.
And does Matt Harvey have universal mechanics?
Unfortunately, Stephen go down here at the @TopVelocity hashtag pitch and ship show. Pitch and ship show. We're here in floating in space. I don't know what this is back here. It's the screen here up in our little theater room.
The green screen.
Green screen. Yeah. We'll superimpose us like
on a mountaintop.
On a mountain. Or I don't know.
There's nothing's gonna happen.
In paradise, sitting on an island, drinking a Corona. That'd be tight.
That would be.
Yeah. So. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, if I didn't say that. @TopVelocity, hashtag pitch tips, hashtag Bation tips. Man,
are you getting tired?
Guys,
what's going on?
This is episode 190? I don't know. We've been deep into this just for you guys. So bear with us. That's baseball tips. Post your question, guys. We'll answer it on the show. Hopefully we can get a break here. Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, thank God.
Get a little break and chill out. I know you're watching this after Christmas because we shot all these before Christmas because I got to go on vacation. That's why. But so good. If you have a question, post your question, and we're going to answer it on the show. If you haven't already, go to TopVelocity.net. Check out the programs. Hey, I just got a tweet. Got a question right there. So, all right, what's the question for today? Blake Gay 021 asks, could you explain what the role of your trunk is in pitching and include a video analysis to explain? Thanks. All right, good question. Now, I think, if I'm going to use an example of a trunk, it's really interesting that David Aardsma, Major League pitcher who's trained with us here for 2 seasons, has probably the best trunk I've ever put through my 3X biometric system. And in the 3X biometric system, I could see at front foot strike where the chin is and how many inches that it covers and going into pitch release. David's around 20-something inches, which is incredibly impressive. So he's a great example of trunk. So the purpose of the trunk is to deliver the arm. But what delivers the trunk is the legs. So the legs, the momentum down the mound, break it into front foot, initiate it into hip rotation, is what, after hip to shoulder separation, is what delivers the trunk. And the more dynamic the trunk, the more power moving in the trunk, the more the arm receives that energy. So I always like to talk about the trunk like this. So there were 2 guys driving in a car, and the goal was both of them were going to throw their arms out of the window and try to throw 100 miles an hour on a gun. And one car was going 20 miles an hour and the other car was going 80. This guy in the 80 mile an hour car, would he have to throw his arm harder out of the car to throw 100 or less? He's going to have to throw less. He's going to have to only equate those extra 20, right? So the guy going in the slow car, the 20 mile an hour, is going to have to work harder to get to that 100 mile an hour speed. So what is the car? The car is the trunk. That the faster and more dynamic that trunk goes, the less that the throwing arm or the internal rotation is going to have to overcompensate to equate to that 90 miles per hour or that 100 miles per hour. So the more you get the trunk going, the more energy it delivers to the arm, less work the arm has to do, potentially the harder you'll throw, and the less wear and tear. If you haven't already, check out the Top Velocity Baseball Science Series, episode 2, where we talk about that. We talk about how that works. So ground reaction forces that move more trunk not only can increase ball speed, but it can, most importantly, or more significantly, reduce the wear and tear on the arm, or the work the arm has to do. So during this, I hope you're watching David there with his trunk moving. And the only way you're going to get the trunk move, you have to understand how the legs build momentum, build force production, and converge separation, and then that delivers to the trunk. And then the more dynamic the trunk, the more energy hits the arm, and the more that supports the arm in both injury prevention and velocity. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so pretty much Brent hit it on the head. So you got it all really starts with the lower half. So the force production from the back leg drive is pretty much creating momentum down the mound, which, like, you guys try to do with running throws and stuff, but you need the drive leg to create the momentum because you can't run on the mound. So you literally have to get as much power as you can from your back leg and transfer it into the front leg. And then once you stabilize that energy in the front leg, you're redirecting it back into the trunk, and then the trunk is going to move forward. That's the car crash analogy. And as the trunk goes forward, you're laying the arm back, it's loading the arm even more, and then it goes into pitch release. And you can see it in videos of a lot of high velocity pitchers have great trunk tilts. So it's a pretty important thing.
Yeah, and if a high velocity pitcher doesn't have a great trunk tilt, you know his arm is overcompensating and doing a lot of that work. Guys that people always ask me, what guys do you think had horrible pitch mechanics? Jake Peavy probably had one of the worst set of high velocity mechanics I had seen because he was very rotational. You know, Jake Peavy, incredible speeds and power. I mean, the guy's a beast. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit the guy. I actually, you know, I played it. College ball at Spring Hill, and he played high school baseball at St. Paul's over there, and I actually watched him at a high school. But when Peavy would throw, I mean, he was very rotational and didn't load and drive much, and probably because he has a lot of mobility issues. But just incredible athlete, explosive, strong guy, and tough guy too. I mean, I'm sure he fought through a lot of arm pain because of what happened to him. But in that very rotational trunk that he had, and he was a sidearm guy, he tore his lat from the bone, and I don't think many guys do that. I don't think I've ever heard of a pitcher doing that. Pretty impressive, and like I said, he was probably fighting through a lot of arm pain. But to tear the lat from the bone, the lat is a big accelerator. I mean, as much as I love, you know, building strong lats so we can support more arm speeds, he was obviously overcompensating too much with that lat and being very rotational and trying to use a lot of his arm to generate that arm speed. So the point is there you can throw very hard without a good trunk, but it's compromising your arm in the process.
Yeah.
Next question. Chris Gent 15 asks, do you think Matt Harvey has universal mechanics that pitchers of all sizes could copy? I don't think there's such thing as one guy having everyone's mechanics. One guy, or everyone can have one guy's mechanics. I don't ever see it that way. He could serve a purpose for a lot of guys, but not one guy. Now, we talk about absolutes. We talk about set things, back leg drive, front leg drive, shoulder separations, good trunk tilts, external rotations, things that they found correlations to in science to ball speed. We talk about those absolutes like everybody should do them, but it doesn't like create what this, basically we had a little skeleton out how everyone should move. So that makes a good point. So no, I wouldn't say Matt Harvey has universal mechanics. I said there's stuff to learn from him, but you're not gonna be able to do it the way he did it because his body's built differently. Every body is different. So the point is you gotta take those absolutes, those, you know, the correlations that science have found to that increase ball speed and injury prevention that we've defined in the 3x pitch velocity program, and then you adapt that to yourself. You're gonna find, okay, well, I can't get as much hip rotation as they're saying I should get, so then I'll just go and get more separation. Or I can't get as much, you know, linear back leg force vector, you know, loading my back leg as much as, you know, say Sonny Gray, but I'm going to get as much as I can, and I'm just going to try to create more power than him. So that's how you're going to do this. You'll take someone like Matt Harvey and be like, well, he's a knee slammer. He's a little bit more of a knee slammer. I'm not a big fan on his knee slamming, but you know, really explosive guy, probably separates well. I haven't broken him down enough. So I might take his separation from him. Definitely not going to take his external rotation. His arm path is a little restricted. I think it's a mobility issue. I think it's gotten better since Tommy John surgery, though. And he's got a really great front leg, so I'm going to take his front leg. But there's a lot of other things I'm not going to take. I think you're going to be doing that with every guy. So there's no one guy that I'm saying everybody should pitch like, except for Chapman. But the same thing with Chapman, he just basically hits all the correlations. That's why he throws so hard. So everything he does is in a science book saying, yeah, this correlates to ball speed. Problem is you're not going to be able to do that because you're going to have issues he doesn't have. Mm-hmm. To tell you the truth, Chapman's going to do things that most everyone can't do. So, you know, I guess if anyone says universal, let's all try to be like Chapman, but at the same time, too, can we be like Chapman? So if you can't, you're going to have to find ways around it and try other things. So I don't want to pick one guy as like the template, except for Chapman. But understand that that's not how it works. We're going to take probably bits and pieces of a lot of different guys, really going to the science. We're really going to what the science is saying, and I know it gets very robotic and mechanical, but that's the perfection we're working for. We're working for that perfection, and if we fall short of it, hopefully that still puts us at 90 miles an hour. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think how people create their velocity is a lot of it is based on the individual with like individual drive leg styles, individual some can have individual arm pass, you know, just different things that can be individual to the athlete, and everybody has their own individual athleticism, mobility, yada yada yada, all that kind of stuff. But I think really the cool thing about now with video and biomechanics and all that stuff is we can look at everything and then say, okay, like you're doing this to create ball velocity, but is that the healthiest way for you to do it, or is that the most efficient way for you to do it? So now we can slow everything down to where we can really personalize it for one person and turn them into the best version of them that they can be. So not necessarily for example, taking Chapman and be like, let's make you like Chapman, which you probably can't do. He's, like Brent said, he hits all the correlations, which is some people you're never going to be able to do it. You might not ever be able to get the mobility he has or the power he has, but we can look at what you have and really put you down a direction and say, you know what, we can try to do this, this, and this, and this. If you hit all of these and you do the best you can at these, this is your best chance of being able to throw hard.
Yeah, good. All right, good question. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @TopVelocity, #PitchTips, #BaseTips. Ask your question, answer on the show. Once again, ABCA is almost around the corner. You're never going to hear me say this again. Nashville, January 7th through 10th. Come down, hang out with us. Also, check out the 3x, 2x programs, TopVelocity.net. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.